Hey there. All right. So now that you know a thing or two about how integers work, it's time to start thinking about how to operate with them. We're going to start with the idea of 3 plus 2, something that you may not have thought about in a while because it just comes to mind so quickly. Um, 3 plus 2 really means that there's a value of 3 steps. Um, and we don't think about this as being a positive 2 because we've never in the past had to think about anything except um, values that were positive. But it really is a sorry, positive 3. It really is a 3 in that positive direction. And when you add positive 2 to positive 3, you have 3 steps in the positive direction plus 2 more steps in the positive direction. You have 5. Now that all changes when we start dealing with negative numbers. So we're going to do that right now. Imagine that instead of positive 3 plus positive 2, you're adding negative 2. Now the negative sign tells you that what you really have is a 2, right? That same absolute value of 2, but in a negative direction. In that direction. That negative sign is saying, hey, it's going that way. And what happens when you take this negative 2 and you combine it with the positive 3 is that you've gone positive 3 to here, but then you go negative 2 back this way, and you end up with a value where these 2 steps have kind of canceled out those steps, and you just have 1. All right, so it's 3, but then you're going 2 in the opposite direction. So 3 plus negative 2, and oftentimes this is shown with parentheses involved. 3 plus negative 2. Don't be scared of the parentheses. It just means that the negative sign, they don't like putting signs side by side, so they usually put them in parentheses. 3 plus negative 2, you're left with 1. You're really left between the difference of 3 and 2. So this is really the same thing, and you are adding the opposite. It's really the same thing as 3 minus 2, isn't it? Because we've just gone back in that direction. Let's look at some situations that are maybe a little bit more complicated. Let's imagine 3 minus or plus a negative 7. Now let's remember, this is actually the same thing as 3 minus 7. All right. Oh, you can't see that. No, you can. It's 3 minus 7. So if we had 3 and we started there, right there, and we were taking away 7, we would hop back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh. I'm sorry, you got taken away negative 4. There you are. All right. So 3 plus a negative 7. Do you see how it took us past this 0? It's important to still count that as a step because it was one step to go from 1 to 0 and another step to go from 0 to negative 1. So when you add a negative 7 to 3, you end up going past that, and the amount that you went past it is the difference between the 7 steps in that direction the 3 steps in that direction. The difference are these 4 steps right in here. It's a terrible arrow, but I think you get my point. The difference is 4 in between these two numbers, and it ends up putting you on the negative side of 4 because the 7 was much bigger than the positive 3. The negative 7 was a larger absolute amount than the 3 that you were adding it to. I think we may have just enough time and mental space to show one more example. We'll see. If we have this situation here, we might start at negative 3 and add negative 7. And again, it might be shown this way. Well, that means we're starting here with a 3, but in this direction. And we're adding 7 more in that same direction. So starting here, we're going to add 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you may have guessed that already, that if we were at 3 in that direction, 7 more in that direction is going to be an absolute distance away from 0 of 10. But we're going to put that opposite sign in there to show that it's in that direction. Are these all the situations? No. But it should be enough to get you started. The one situation that I probably should show is every once in a while, and this is mean, you'll subtract a negative number. And the reason that this is kind of mean is that the subtraction sign means, yeah, you know what? You're going to start at 2. And then we're going to take away. But we're going to take away the opposite of 5. If we were going to take away 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we might go like that. But we're taking away the opposite of 5. And so that means we're going to take away that same amount, but in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's quite tricky. You will get used to it. You look for this to see, am I taking it away? If so, you might be going in the opposite direction. Then you look at the sign, and if there is a sign there, that tells you to do the opposite of whatever this is telling you. Oh my goodness. You will get used to it with practice. Good luck. And that is my example with small numbers.